Life is a time pass. क्या फर्क पड़ता है? कोई दिक्कत नहीं, पता नहीं। जो थारी राय सो हमारी राय। Nothing to do, nowhere to go. देखो सुनो मत बोलो। Wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100% करे नाटक। किसी को आओ मत कहो, किसी को जाओ मत कहो। ना कुछ बना ना कुछ खोना। Who asked you live at zero complete level? मौज में रहो, be happy.
Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. All our experiences are constituted of three components. One is the experiencer, second is the experience, and third is the object of experience. Vijnanamaya utpannaha jnata, jnanam manomayaha, deya shabdadayo naitat trayam utpatita pura. When we are in deep sleep, that time this division in the knowledge in the form of knower known knowledge is not there. And therefore we are happy in the deep sleep. But the moment we get identified with the body, these three things happen. The first is the Vijnanamaya Kosha, the I factor is the experiencer. All experiences happen in the mind. So the mind is the knowledge and the object of experience is other than us. In this manner, these three factors create the samsara. But before creation, this was not there. Therefore, it is said, Traya bhavetu nirdvaitvaha purnaha eva anubhuyate. When these three things are absent, then we are nirdvaita. No contamination of a sense of otherness. This is one of the most important factors in our spiritual understanding. Dvitiyat vai bhayam bhavati. Wherever there is a sense of otherness, three things happen. First is fear, second is desire, third is anger. These three things are absent in the deep sleep because there is no sense of otherness. Therefore, Traya bhavitu nirdvaitvaha purna anubhuyate. So samadhi supti murshasu purne srishte puratatha. Therefore, in that samadhi, in the deep sleep and under anesthesia, purnaha srishte puratatha. We are infinite, we are one with the divine. Therefore, we are constantly wanting to go to sleep even in the satsanga. Because what for we come to satsang? For happiness. Instead of struggling, Brahman, Triputi, Annamaya question, Swami, you keep on talking. Your speeches are very anesthetic. Go to sleep. But you can understand, you may sleep, but I don't go to sleep. You come in the front seat, Mama, come in the front seat. उधर के एसी खत्म कर दो, वो सब लोग ठंडे, बम्बई के लोग हैं, बर्फ को देख करके इनको ठंड लगती. So, in the deep sleep, when there is no sense of otherness, there is no disturbance. Now, when I am talking to you, I am also in deep sleep. You may be thinking, I am addressing you, but the truth is, I am addressing myself. Whatever I talk, if that does not have impact on me, what is the meaning of talking? Therefore, Mahatmas are always happy because they don't talk to us, they are talking to themselves. So, up to here we have seen in our last satsang. Now, in the 17th mantra, we start now. Yo bhuma sa sukham nalpe sukham tredha vibhedini sanat kumara prahaivam नारदायति शोकिने सनत कुमार एवं प्राह सनत कुमार जी ने नारद जी को बताया. Who was नारद जी? नारदाय अति शोकिने. Narad ji was very miserable and disturbed. Can you imagine? Narad ji and disturbed. It happened once. This comes in Chandogya Upanishad. Narad ji was coming and he came across Sanat Kumar ji, 4 brothers. And he was depressed, moved, hanging, and then somehow not chanting Narayan, Narayan. So Sanat Kumar ji asked, Hey Narad ji, what happened to you? I am miserable and disturbed. I am very unhappy. Why? Have you not studied? I have studied all the 4 Vedas. I have studied, I have studied all the 64 branches of knowledges. And yet I am not happy. What should I do? This is referring to all the speakers like me. I have studied Upanishad, I have studied Gita, I give lecture. No, I am miserable. Why? People don't change. See, I am doing so much struggle, moving here and there. People don't change. I am miserable. This is what happened to Narad ji. So, he was told by Sanat Kumar ji, Yo bhuma sa sukham. Bhuma means infinite. The infinite alone is bliss. The finite is na alpe sukham, or that which is finite can never yield happiness. So what is the difference between finite and infinite? Finite is that where there is a possibility of adding something. Infinite is that where there is neither a possibility, nor a need, nor a struggle to add something to make it infinite. How simple it is. Na alpe sukham. Finite can never give you happiness. Therefore, we keep on adding one or the other, and there is no end to it. Yo bhuma sa sukham. Therefore, abide in the infinite. So what is infinite? Infinite is that which is not the product of any creation, not created. Being is infinite, becoming is finite. Therefore, where are we seated, in the being or in the becoming? In being there is no beginning, in being there is no modification, in being there is no center, in being there is no end, and in being there is no absence. We have come to our own being. In other words, qualified existence is finite. Specific existence is finite. I am doctorate, PhD. In what? In sleep. I have written thesis on sleep. But I don't get sleep. So, yo bhuma sa sukham, nal pe sukham asti. So, this Tridha Vibedini, because of these three, experiencer, experienced, and experiencer, that which is divided into lower known knowledge is the samsara. Continuing further, Sa Puranan Panchavedan Shastrani Vividhani Cha Jnatvapyanatma Vittena Narado Atishushochaha. Now, who was Narada? Sa Puranan Panchavedan Shastrani Vividhani Cha Jnatva Api. One sentence. Narada, he studied all the 18 Puranas, all the Vedas, all the scriptures, all the various branches of knowledge. Jnatva Api. Anatma Vitvena. But he did not come to know who is he. This principle I told you in our modern language. Do you know who was the 13th President of America? Does it make any difference? Do we know when Mahatma Gandhi was born? Morning or evening? Whether his birth was normal delivery or cesarean? Makes no difference. What difference makes is that do we know ourselves or not? That is worthy of knowing. Therefore, Vedesha Sarvai Ahameva Vidya. That is important. So, Jnatva Api Anatma Vitvena. But he was only wasting his time in pursuit of that which is not essential in life. Anatma Vitvena. He was doing everything else except himself. Narada Ati Shushocha. And therefore he became extremely miserable. To such a Narada, Sanat Kumarji told that unless you know your essential self, your miseries cannot disappear. You will continue. Now, what was the misery of Narada, although he has studied so much? Vedabhyasat puratapa Trayamatreya shokita Paschat tattva bhasa Vismar bhanga garvaishcha shokita. Vedabhyasat pura, before I studied the Vedas, etc., tapatrayena shokita. I was miserable because of three issues. Tapatraya. I was miserable because of this. What was that? Paschat tattva abhyasa vismara bhanga garvaishcha shokita. The first was, see, I had not studied scriptures, therefore I was miserable. I studied all the scriptures. Therefore, my observation is, if some of you is of that brand, who cares? Those who do PhD, they are good for nothing. Finish your graduation, start earning, produce wealth. I want to do PhD. Why PhD? Because no responsibility. You take the government money, this scholarship, that scholarship. And what do you come out of? You get a degree, PhD. And then another person does the same research and condemns what you have done is wrong. But you continue to get your PhD and money. Don't waste your time in that. If you take Bill Gates, if you take Steve Jobs, they have not done PhD. Friends, this is how Vedabhyasat Pura Tapatraya Matrena Shokita. So one of the misery was, hey yaar, I did not study. People will call me ignorant. And then those who have not got it, then they somehow manage, give one or the other criteria to the university, which is in their pocket, and then they get honorary PhD. And then they start writing, Doctor so and so. Just a fake thing, it has no meaning. This is what happens. After study of scriptures, you have lost your right to be miserable. So, Vedabhyasat Pura, before that, see, I could not study, and I am so on. Then Paschat, what happened? Paschat, Tattva Abhyasa Vismara. See, I have studied, but I tell you, I forget. See? What is said in the Bhagavad Gita, which adhyaya, I don't know. Let me check it. All miseries, nothing else. So first of all, I have not studied is the misery. Then I studied, but I don't remember, what to do. And third, Bhanga Garvaishcha. Garva, the arrogance. I have studied so much. Then somebody comes and you are unable to stand before him because he can clean bolt you instantaneously. Therefore, the arrogance also goes away. Therefore, this was the reason why Narad was miserable. So, continuing further, Soham Vidvan Prashochami Shokaparam Nayatramam Ityuktaha Sukhamevasya Paramityabhadat Drishi. Soham, this type of me, who is well read in the Vedas and the Puranas and the scriptures and everything, that me Soham, Vipran, O great Sanat Kumarji, Prashochami, I am extremely miserable. Then, Shokoparam Naya Atramam, kindly help me to get out of these miseries. First of all, what we do normally, all of us, we are expert in blaming others for our miseries. This is the standard format. We blame others for everything that happens to us. Then what will be our approach to life? Try to improve others and we will become more miserable. This is what happened with Naradji. Soham Vipran Prashochami Shokaparam Nayatramam Ityuktaha. Thus having said, Sukham eva asya param iti abhyadhat rashihi. And therefore, the only way is that unless you discover the bliss, you can never go beyond the miseries of life. There is no other way. Friends, don't seek happiness in your life. Express happiness through every expression of life. That doesn't mean we are laughing like a mad person. There are some people. In that laughter, there is a pathetic thing. No. You don't have to please anybody. Be at home, at peace with yourself. About this also I tell you. Once I was coming from Prayagraj to Varanasi after the Kumbh Mela, one of the Kumbh Melas. And it started raining so heavily, so we had to stop the car and one hotel we entered. And when I still remember the name of the hotel, it was Imli Hotel. So I lifted my khadav and somehow walking on the step. One person came with the umbrella, took my khadav in his hand, took me inside. He sat on a nice seat. Then I told him, "Thank you, gentlemen, whosoever you may be. Today you could be my guest for the lunch." He said, "Swamiji, this is my hotel." I said, "Then I am your lunch. I am your guest." And then he said, "I am following you for years. I am so happy you have come. I am very happy. I am mauj mein hu." I said, "I don't know why did I say." I said, "You are happy. What about the people at home, wife, children?" Immediately the whole face changed. "Why did you say like that?" I said, "I am sorry, I withdraw." No, 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 no. They are so miserable, I am fed up of them. Friends, if our happiness is creating miseries around, you are not happy. That is not happiness. See, friends, how important if you have fragrance sprayed on your body and if other people are smelling filth and dirt, that means something is wrong either with your perfume or with their nose. See, friends, happiness means we are at peace and anybody who comes in contact with us or nearby us also experience the same peace. Therefore, we have to again and again recognize this. Nobody can help us in this. So, Sanat Kumar ji told, he asked, "Soham prashochami shokam parnayatra mam." Therefore, Rishi Maharaj explained him what is the sukham. So the teacher continues. Sukham vaiyashikam shoka sahasrena mrutatvataha dukkhameveti matvaha nalpesti sukhamityasau. Vaiyashikam sukham sahasrena shokena amrutatvataha. The joy, what we call, is actually a pleasure. It is not a joy. See? In case of that happiness, which is dependent on time, space and object. First of all, object. If I get my brand, then I am happy. If I don't get my brand, then I am not happy. Vastu. Then kala. When I am in a good mood and if I get the thing I want, then I am really happy. Vastu kala. And then when I am all by myself, nobody to challenge me and I can really indulge the way I want, then I can be happy. Therefore, vaiyashikam sukham, the happiness gained through indulgence with the worldly objects is shoka sahasrena. Thousands of miseries are associated with them. Because every time we don't get what we want, even if we get what we want, we don't get sufficient. Even if we get sufficient, our health doesn't permit. There are so many things together. And therefore, there are many things associated with the happiness gathered through indulgence in the worldly things. Whatever you enjoy, worldly objects. For example, you like chocolate. If you get a particular chocolate which you like after maybe 6 months and you take the first bite, for our understanding, the unit of happiness that you had, suppose you make it 100. Then you take the 10th chocolate, continuous, 1, 2, 3, 4, 10. Then in the 10th chocolate, the unit of happiness will be 90. Then you take another 10. The units of happiness will be hardly 10. After that, now I don't want anymore. Therefore, indulgence gives us happiness, but with the increase in the indulgence, the quality of joy reduces. Therefore, you will see such affluent people ultimately end up in perversion. If we really want to enjoy this world, keep away. Have once in a while. All the time indulgent, you can never enjoy your life. So, sukham vaiyashikam shoka sahasrena avratatvatah dukkhame veti matva. And therefore, that happiness which is creating dependence, that indulgence which is conditioned by so many factors, how it can be happiness? Therefore, it is dukkha alone. Dukkhame veti matva, thus having understood this, na alpe asti sukham iti asau. Therefore, we have come to this conclusion that the happiness gathered by indulging in the worldly objects, things or beings, cannot be the infinite one. It is finite. Dependent on the objects, dependent on the time of indulgence, dependent on the place where we are indulging. Therefore, it cannot be the infinite bliss which is dependent on so many factors. See? Now here, the teacher has told this, the student raises a question. Nanu dvaite sukham ma bhut advaite pi asti no sukham asti chet upalabhyeta तथा च त्रिपुटी भवेत् न द्वैते सुखम मा भूत. Okay, we agree. There is no real happiness in the duality. Agreed. Ma. Advaite api no sukham. In the non-dual also there cannot be happiness. If there is happiness, see, asti chet, if there is happiness, upalabhyeta, we should be able to experience the bliss in the non-dual. See? And if we experience the bliss in the non-dual in the absolute reality, then Triputi has happened. Knower, known knowledge. This is the question raised. In Dvaita, there is Triputi, therefore it is not real happiness. In Advaita, there is no Triputi, therefore there cannot be happiness. But we say Advaite Sukham, the Bhuma Sukham, infinite, there is happiness. What is infinite? Where there is no division of knower, known knowledge, etc. Therefore, in non-dual also there is no happiness. Logic. You know why this logic comes? Because we are not able to recognize happiness without the body enjoying the happiness, or experience without experiencer. See? For this we told a simple technique. Dekho suno mat bolo. Seeing is no problem. Hearing is no problem. When seeing and hearing is followed by any comment, then seer or hearer is born. And when seer or hearer is born, Triputi has happened. See? This is what we have to clearly, distinctly understand. This is what the teacher tells. Mastva dvaite sukham kintu sukham advaitame vahi. किं मानमिति चेन्नास्ति मानाकांक्षा स्वयं प्रभे मा अस्तु advaiti sukham. The teacher now explains, agreed. In the non-dual, there cannot be happiness as we get in Triputi. Object of joy, experience of joy for the experiencer of the joy. This Triputi is not possible in the Advaita, non-dual, agreed. Ma astu advaiti sukham. Kintu sukham advaitameva hi. What is happiness? Happiness is that which is undivided experience. Our experience is divided. But how can you establish it? Kim manamiti chet? How do you establish that in non-dual there is no Triputi because non-dual itself is bliss? Then kim manam? How can you establish that the non-dual experience is bliss? How do you experience? The teacher says, mana kanksha na swayam prabhe. See, now to understand this, mana kanksha na swayam prabhe means the self-established, self-illumined doesn't require any authentication by others. So bring this through an example. If I have no vision, I cannot see colors and forms. Because vision is required. What is the vision? It is the means of knowledge or an authority of knowledge. Because the objects are not self-illumined. Like this object is not self-illumined. Therefore, we require external light to fall on this object. So, all these objects are bathing in the light of the reflected light of this light. Yes. Do they know each other? They don't know each other. Then, to know the object, a knower is required. Now, third step. Is the object and the knower required for just being? Meaning, do you know yourself? Yes. How do you know? Through sense organs. Let me taste. No, I am not there. Or I am there. Do I smell? No, no need. Do I feel joy, sorrows? No. Do I conceive myself as somebody? No. And in the absence of all these known means of knowledge, what is the experience in the deep sleep where sense organs, mind and intellect are totally absent? And yet, we do not have experience of our absence because we are the eternal presence. And this eternal presence is not requiring the knower of the truth. See? Now continue the same example. To know this object which is not self-illumined, we require the other light. Very good. One experiment over. Now to see the light, do we require other light? Because it is self-illumined. See? Now to see this light, we require eyes. Whether eyes have light or not, do we require another light? No. In other words, no authority of knowledge is required to establish our being. This is what we told you in simple words. That which does not involve operation of any known means of knowledge or pramana nirapeksha anubhuti. No pramana is required. Even a mad person, if you tell him that you are not there, he will give one. Why did you beat me? I am not there. No knowledge is required to know ourselves. Therefore, maastu advaiti sukham kintu sukham advaitamevahi. We are ourselves of the nature of bliss. And therefore, there is no reason to know being the self. You require any other means of knowledge. And therefore, be attentive, therefore, experience without experiencer is the answer. Dekho, suno, mat bolo. Work on this. It is very easy, my friends, not difficult. But our old habit. We have to talk. Comment, evaluation, suggestion. And when this is done, somebody is born. And that somebody was uncalled for. Therefore, other mantra is, who asked you? How many times we talk when nobody has asked us anything? Observe this. Suppose somebody comes, like many people, they come, Swamiji, I have been listening to you for so many years. I could never imagine that I will ever meet you. One Swamiji met me on an airport in Ahmedabad. When I came through security, and then he came and did namaskar. He said, I can't trust my eyes. I can see you. I've been listening to you for years together, but never imagined I can ever meet you. Now, I told you this experience. Do you think you'll keep quiet? Swamiji, the same thing happened. Who asked you? See, friends. So why this happens? Because we want to participate in the gossip. You observe this when these ladies start talking. One person tells, my mother-in-law, yes, she has not even completed. The second one starts, my mother-in-law, what about you? No, you are telling something about my mother-in-law is so good, so loving. But my mother-in-law is not like cinema suru. Therefore, before we talk to anybody on any topic, ask a question to yourself. Is it necessary to talk? Okay? But we are unable to hold on to that. So, in the 24th slok, the teacher says, Soprabhatve bhavadvakyam manam yasmad bhavanidam advaitam abhyupetyasmin sukham nasti nibhashate. Swaprabhatve bhavad vakyam manam yasmat bhavan idam. So, this your own sentence, your own statement is swaprabhatve, is self-elimined. Don't you see? How do you know that I am happy or I am not happy? Who told you you are happy? I don't need anybody to tell me, I know I am happy. Who told you you are miserable? Nobody needs, I know I am miserable. In the same manner, for being happy, we do not require anybody's authentication. Therefore, happiness without anybody is real happiness. This is what they say in English. Nobody is happy. Nobody alone is happy. Somebody is always miserable. This point also I told you number of times. Whenever you are disturbed, go to the seed of the disturbance. You will come to know there is somebody sitting. So we are miserable as mother, mother-in-law, father, father-in-law, brother. We are miserable as somebody. After you are diagnosed the disease, then give the treatment. So miseries are the symptoms of our life. Diagnosis, who is miserable? And once you are diagnosed, he is miserable, then find out, is he real or fake? Then we come to know the one who is miserable is fake, doesn't exist. Now that which doesn't exist, how you can improve? See, if the mirror is dirty and therefore the reflection is not clear, are we going to wash our face? See friends, Swaprabhatve bhavadvakyam manam yasmad bhavanidam. Therefore, when we talk, we don't require anybody's authority. I know. Advaitam abhyupeti asmin sukham nasti iti bhashate. And therefore, we are non-dual, and non-duality is the bliss. And this is how we cannot say in the non-dual Advaita there is no happiness. Nanupabhyam aham advaitam tadvacho nudya dushanam vachmiti chetada bruhi kimasi dvaitata pura. See, aham advaitam na abhyupaiti. I do not accept the non-dual, your statement, because there is a fallacy, dushanam in that. Then, dvaitataha pura kim asit bruhi. So the student asks, before the duality, what was there? Continuing, kim advaitamudam dvaitam anyo va kotiranti maha aprasiddho na dvitiyo anutpattehe shishyate agrimaha. So, 26th verse I am reading. Kim advaitamu tadvaitam anyo va kotiranti maha aprasiddho na dvitiyaha anutpatte shishyate grimaha. Kim advaitam uta dvaitam anyaha va antim kotima aprasiddha. What are the possibility? Possibility is non-dual, dual, or the other one. What is the other one? It could be dual as well as non-dual. See? Now the last alternative, antim kotimaha aprasiddha. How it can be the same thing is both dual and non-dual? It can't be both. So that the third option is rejected. Therefore, antim kotiya aprasiddha. The dvitiya alternative, that is the second one, anutpattehe, before creation, how there can be duality? Before marriage, how there can be a husband? And therefore, what remains is the non-dual. Therefore, these are the three options. Is something both dual, non-dual? Not possible. It can be either dual, non. This is rejected. Second thing, Dvaita. Before creation, was Dvaita there? No. Before creation, how there can be Dvaita? Therefore, what remains is Advaita, Srishtitaha Puraha. Now, these statements, if we apply on ourselves, in the deep sleep, What can you say? Whether it is duality, non-duality, or a mixture of the two? It can't be a mixture of the two. It can't be duality because the world has not yet started. Only when we are awake, the world starts. Therefore, in deep sleep, we are one. This point also I told you a number of times in a different, simple way. Our waking experiences are different from each other. Our dreams are different from each other. What will be the dream of a child? His dream will be, I get lot of chocolates. When I was going in the Disney world, there were heavy clouds. I looked up and there was a thunderstorm of the chocolates and ice creams. This is the dream the child will dream. A person who is unable to get married, his dream will be all the Raja Kanya of the whole world are coming to him. I want to marry you, I want to marry you. They start fighting to marry him. Dream. For me, what will be the dream? I am giving lecture and people are sleeping. His friends. Therefore, our waking experiences are different. Our dream experiences are different. But our deep sleep experience is common. You don't have to do anything, friends. Then how to lead life? Wherever, whenever, whatever you are, be 100%. Karnataka, Natak karo. If you are suffering because of your mother-in-law, I'll tell you a technique. Go on praising her. Praise. Mama, you are so great. How did you manage to be so cool and quiet and you understand everybody? Actually, this is a suggestion for her. She will start thinking that we are appreciating her. This also I have to tell you. See, tomorrow I am going to one conference. The conference only on what? It is on prenatal parenting. Can you imagine? Prenatal parenting for a brahmachari, a Swami, to give a lecture. Then Karnataka. When I can talk on that topic, why not talk on the mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law things? Therefore, friends, don't take the relative life too seriously. It is like that. Sometimes old people, they don't understand what is the standpoint of the youngsters. And then what the old people will do, they'll be talking about their childhood, In our childhood, when our father used to come in our room, we used to get up and go to other room out of both fear and respect. But now, when my son comes in my room, I run away to the other room. Why? Because you are born to run. Milkha Singh. Don't compare. These three things, if you work consciously, you are living in meditation 24/7. Three things only. Number one, don't talk about your past or ask anybody about their past. Second thing, don't go on projecting imaginary problems and struggle to solve them. If you are to define worry, what is a worry? Worry is an attempt to solve the non-existing problems. We keep on imagining. If I go there, if I don't get a taxi, what will happen? And such people don't get taxi. Because their sankalpa is fructifying. Relax, man, relax. If there is a problem, be prepared. If there is no problem, relax. So, three things. One, don't talk about your past, but don't go in the past. Don't go in the future. So in the past, we talk about the gone by. About the future, we keep on imagining and creating imaginary problems and try to solve them. And the third thing, in the present, stop comparisons. These are the three areas. If we consciously work on this, your mind will stand dissolved. Like the waters. Take anywhere, maybe in a pot or in a flat surface or maybe in a lake. Absolutely calm and quiet. You can see your reflection perfectly. Then put only one dry leaf. And then one dry leaf will be enough to create a series of ripples around. In that disturbed water, when you see your reflection, that will also start. And these ripples are nothing but these three things. Past memories, future worries, and present comparisons. Work consciously on this. The mind will dissolve in pure consciousness. Therefore, the continuing thought, Advaita Siddhir Yukteva Nanu Bhutteti Chedvada Nirdrishtanta Sadrishtanta Va Kotyantaramatranno Advaita Siddhi Yuktya Eva Na Anubhutani Iti Chedvada. See, you have established the non-duality only by logic. See? But can it be established by experience? If you are arguing iti ched, then explain, tell me. Nirdrishtanta, sadrishtanta. Is there any example by which you can tell this non-duality through some example? Sadrishtanta. And then the question comes, which can be the experience or example to establish the non-duality? How there can be any other example? Suppose somebody says, Swamiji, this is my first son. What is meant? There is a second also in the line. If there is only one son, we don't say he is my first son. Therefore, when we talk about non-duality, there is no attribute, there is no adjective. And therefore, sadrishtanta, nirdrishtanta, there is no example. And therefore, one of the words used to indicate the truth is anupameya. It is unlike anything. See? Unlike anything. We are always in a language of comparison or evaluation, suggestion. The space is like what? Space is like space. Infinite is one. There are not two infinities. Therefore, it cannot be like. It is the only one. See? If there are two children, two sons, then there will be comparison. My elder son is very calm and quiet, very studious and all that. But the second one is the Rakshasa. is troubling everybody. Comparison. If there is only one sun, you have nothing to talk about. Therefore, we cannot talk about whether the non-dual can be established only by logic, but there is no example. There is no example also possible. नानुभूतिर्न दृष्टांत इति युक्तस्तु शोभते सदृष्टान्तत्व पक्षे तु दृष्टान्तं वद मे मतम्. Neither can we experience non-dual because there is no experiencer other than the experienced. Therefore, we can neither experience the non-duality nor there is any example. And therefore, your logic is without an example is great indeed. It is a sarcasm. Therefore, sadrishtantatva pakshe sati, if you are giving some example, then the duality is happening again. Therefore, how do we accept the non-dual is bliss and can be experienced, but there is no experiencer more? How can we accept it? So this is the logic that is created by the student. Now continuing his objection, Advaitaha pratyayo dvaita Anupalambhena suptivata iti chet suptiradvaiteti atra drishtantamiraya. Pralayaha advaitaha dvaita anupalambhena. In the pralaya deluge or like in the deep sleep, advaitaha, because non-duality is because there is no duality or otherness available. Iti chet, if this is just a, then supti advaite atra drishtamtam iraya, then the deep sleep is the non-dual. Give some example. Do you know what is happening in this question? We can give example in the waking world because our experiences are different. We can give examples in the dream world because our experiences are different. But when it comes to deep sleep, this is what we have to recognize. Deep sleep is not one per head. Many Vedanta students, teachers, they don't catch this point. Jagrat Swapna, separate. Sushupti one. They are not separate. See? When you catch this, then this question will not come. This question comes because we imagine. See, but he was in deep sleep, but I was not. This is how the logic comes. But it has no meaning. If we analyze in waking experience, the object and the word name indicating the object, they are separate. In waking, Vaikhari Vani is active. I am talking to you through Vaikhari Vani. In the dream, it is the Madhyama Vani which is active. Where the object and the word indicating the object both are only thoughts. But in deep sleep, there is none. So that none is common. See? If a temple is removed, the space was holy. If a toilet is removed, what the space unholy? Space has no purity, no impurity. Therefore, this non-dual experience of the deep sleep, unless we are convinced and we work on it, we will be only argumenting in all unwanted logic. Recognize this. You know why this happens? When the mirror is facing the world, the reflection will be that of the world. Now, if you face the mirror surface to yourself, the world will disappear. Our face will be seen. This is clear. Come back to yourself. If eyes are open and they are exposed to the world will be seen. But if the eyes are turned towards themselves, meaning you are seeing but seer is not born. Then world is not created. So seeing is not the problem, hearing is not the problem, but when seeing and hearing is creating a seer or a hearer, the samsara begins. Therefore, as we listen to satsanga, listen to the world. How many times we have heard, would it make any change in us? Asangoham, asangoham, asangoham punah punah. Keep on blah 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 blah. So, advaitaha pratyayo pralayo dvaita anupalabhya suptivat iti che supti advaite atra drishtanta. So here also in the deep sleep it is the advaita. Kindly give some example. Drishtanta par suptischet ahote kaushalam mahata yaha swasuptim na vetti asya par suptau tu ka katha. Drishtanta par suptischet. If you are taking the example of someone else's sleep, meaning there are different sleeps. Drishtanta parasu. Ahote kaushalam mat. You are awfully intelligent. This is what I told you. Deep sleeps are not separate. Only one. Because in deep sleep, there is no sense of otherness. There is no experience of joy or sorrows. So, ahote kaushalam mad yaha swasuptim na vetti. We do not know our own deep sleep. So, parasuptau tu ka katha, and you are talking about, give example, how in the deep sleep there is a non-dual. Now, how can you give example? You learn from your own experience. Is it your sleep is different and my sleep is different? The sleep of a human being, the sleep of an animal is the same. It's not different. Therefore, this non-dual reality does not require any example, any authority, but our own experience that we are going through in deep sleep. Hey friends, therefore Upanishad says, Tatra Mata Amata Bhavati, Tatra Pita Apita Bhavati. In deep sleep we are nobody. Nobody is only one. Nobodies are not many. Continuing further in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Maha Harihi Om.